My fresh hair out of the
Oh,
shower.
your hair's looking like
Thank you.
you're dewy so all right. Hello, welcome to another Sunflower Conversation. As you guys know, we discuss power, purpose, pleasure, and the examples of it in real life because we all know we need all of these things. We all know we have all of these things. And then sometimes to live them just feels exhausting, just feels overwhelming. And that's by design. So, like, I know some of like the baddest bitches around, and that's the point of these conversations. So, you guys can hear what women do that are on a journey of living their power, purpose, and pleasures. So, today we're talking to Marlyn from Side Presents. She is someone who I've recently been connected with. And like the minute we connected, I was like, oh, like I felt total like auntie cousin vibes, like I just want
Yeah.
to hang out and get to know more. So I thought you all can get to know more while I get to know more about this amazing woman. And she's one half of Side Presents, which is this amazing program that collaborates with organizations to produce events and activation that really bring people together to collaborate around culture, around creativity. And I see it being not only very driven, but having power and pleasure in it as well. So, their latest event, which we're definitely going to be partnering with for next year, is Estrogina, which we'll have Marlyn say more, but need I say more? So Marlyn, thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I've been a podcaster lately, so to be on a podcast, I'm like, oh, this is a full circle moment.
I
So,
love that. I love that. And I love even thinking about this as a podcast because I see this as like anti story time,
right.
and as a professional storyteller, like yourself, we'll see how you grade me. And any learnings, pass on. So it's great to have you on this side
Yes.
of the microphone. Let's start with just talking a little bit about Side Presents and like what it does and how you came to it with Thurland, who we're going to
Oh,
be interviewing as well.
yes. So she'll probably say that I love to tell our love story, quote unquote. Um, we are best friends through and through. And I think it was divine intervention that led us to one another, just as we've woven our lives together through with Side. But um 2015 to start 2015, I lost my grandmother and I was looking for a job. Like it was kind of like a a mid-20 crisis in a way. Really finding myself, grounding myself. I ended up um, finding a job in property management with Samuels and Associates 3 months later. So, fresh off of my morning, I jumped into a
And
whole new.
also grandma pushing some of those levers, like levers
Yes.
that she couldn't push here, right? She was like, let me just get
Yes.
this done.
Right. She was my anchor. So it was a really interesting time for me. But in that I met Therlande. And Therlande is a Berkeley graduate. She is a singer, a dancer, choreographer, production genius. Always has been since I met her. And I always identified as like a closeted creative. I love art. Everything about design is my jam. But, my parents are immigrants, so they're like, have this idea and life for me where, they don't want me to um had the same struggles that they had. So, I worked in an office. I did get my bachelor's in psychology, so I did go to school, but then didn't end up going anywhere with it. I was going to do my master's in art therapy, so this is all the pieces falling together now that I see it in hindsight. But I met Thurlin, and that's where we started our friendship. It sparked because we have the same birthday, so that's we're both Scorpios, so we're both like, I don't know who you are yet, but once you find that click, it's like we're there forever. Um, so we would just kiki after work, just honestly, like, just be decompressing, like, um, what do you want to be in this world? What do you hope? Like,
Yes.
9 to 5 life sucks. Is there
Right,
more
like
out
you
there?
guys were your own like what is it called? Like support group.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like you guys were
yeah,
able to
yeah.
support each other getting through the drudgery of the real life. And
Right.
then you guys
Yeah.
decide to create this amazing business. It was that
Yeah.
like the natural next step?
Yeah. So like Therlande would always say, like, at the office, like, I'm gonna go for it to a gig. My side piece. I'm gonna go choreograph. I'm gonna go to
Right, my
Berkeley.
side hustle,
My
my
side, my
like
side, my
side
side.
work, right.
So in these nights when we were just, ideating, she's like, what I want to do. Well, first, it's like, what type of life do we want to live? We want to be creatives freely. We want to be able to have the same monetary luxuries that we have now in a 9 to 5 office, but be creative and push other creatives who we know that we think are amazing. So one night, Thurland's like, Mart, I had a dream. And that's the first kicker to get me hooked. I said, tell me.
Right.
I was like, what happened? So she's like, I have a dream. Like, I want like a seed planted in me that I want to gather a bunch of women together in my home that, like, I've connected with or want to connect with and like admire what they're doing right now. Like, and I just want to get a bunch of women together in my house. Like, I just want to do a brunch and we all sit down. And she's like talking to me, talking to me, talking to me. And I'm like, so you just want to do a brunch? And she's like,
Right.
yeah,
As a good friend, great
yeah,
idea, but
yeah.
let's push a little.
I'm like, so that's it? That's all you want to do is a brunch? When do you want to do it? Next week? 2 weeks from now? She's like, because I'm used to hospitality. I'm used to, like, that's
Like you
my
were like, this
background.
is easy. Like this can be
Yeah, I was like,
tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but yeah.
basically. So we did that. And we were like, what are we gonna call it? Like, what, like, how, like, it's gonna be on Valentine's Day weekend. It's all women. Like, okay, estrogen, vaginas, let's
Right. What's
estrogina.
all the wonderful woman things? All right.
And like, honestly, it was like spaghetti, like throwing spaghetti at a wall.
The way all good ideas come.
And then we were just like, it's provocative. It's interesting. It's, I don't know. I think we were just
And
too.
it's sort of like that beacon. Like if
Mhm.
you're uncomfortable by the name, it's probably not your crew anyway.
Exactly.
So it can help people understand, is this a place where I want to be? Because someone like me, I would hear it and be like, ladies,
Yeah.
I'm coming. I have my estrogen. I have my vagina. I'm coming.
Yes.
Right? Like, but for some people, that might be like, oh, I don't even look at my vagina. So, like, this might not be the crew for me.
Right, right. So that's honestly where it birthed. We hosted a Valentine's Day weekend. It was at Therlande's house. We invited 20 girls, maybe 25, if I'm thinking right. We had a private chef. We thought we were like the all the nines. We paid with our own money, right? Like we sourced it ourselves. And the second everybody got together, it just felt, I don't know, I guess it's like that beacon, that like aha moment, that macro, this is my why, this is divine intervention, this is the building blocks, this is great, this is fun. um and from then on they were like, so when's the next one? And don't put a challenge in front of us because we're gonna take it and run with it, and we're 7 years deep in now. So that's honestly what catapulted side, because it was just a dream of one event, right? Like, of just this one time brunch. But the community pushed us and encouraged us and nurtured
Right. So the
us.
community was the one that was like, this is more than a brunch. Like, which is, I think that's when you know you're in flow,
Hmm.
right? Is like when you plant a seed and the community tells you, this is what this is.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And
Like
I
you
think
think
it
it's a
still
brunch
happens.
seed, but it's actually a maple. And
Yeah,
like it's gonna
yeah,
grow big and amazing.
yeah, yeah. So I thank you for that analogy. I do resonate with that. But yeah, that's literally like how everything catapulted into side. Um I, I think like what pushes us is every day is a yes day. Hey
Oh,
guys, do you
I
want to do
love that.
Estrogina again? Yes. Hey, do you want
Right.
to work with the MFA? Yes. Hey, do you want to work with insert here of who we've worked with? Like, yes, 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 yeah, sure, yeah, yeah. So it's like I think that's what propelled just this movement that we've created, like for ourselves, I guess.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I think like the takeaways that I'm hearing that like I want to settle into my heart are like, first of all, this idea of like sisterhood, right?
Hmm.
And what it means to have someone that you can dream with. And, you know, as adults, we, you know, you can either get into like a nuclear family or like, you know, taking care of your own, whatever it might be. And it's so important to have, you know, that space, that girlfriend, that set of girlfriends, your doggy
Yes. Yeah, I
that
know.
like, you know, lets you dream and like encourages it, right? And pours
Right.
water on it and soil and
Hmm.
all of that.
Your chosen family too.
The chosen family, right? Like
Right.
you're, you know, like a true,
Hmm.
and I'm saying sisterhood placeholder for everyone who holds up
Right.
your sisterhood, right?
Right.
Like, um, but also you guys did it. You went from talking to doing a brunch, which was bite size. It was something that you could do to feed your souls, right? Like this wasn't even about, you know, not everything has to have some huge end to it, right? Like, especially the most authentic, organic things, that's how they grow, right? And then you brought the community together and the community said, by the way, we do this again. And now you're in this place where you can do these wonderful, you know, where you can feed
Yeah.
your soul while you feed other people.
Yeah.
Um, which is so much what I think like I tapped into with
Mhm.
both of your vibes, you know, like because you're just like, oh yeah, you're a dreamer and a doer. And those two things together are just that they're a wonderfully effective combination.
Thank you.
Um, and so I want to start with the doing part, right? Like, in order to do, you have to have agency, right? Like, you were like, we can do a brunch, no problem.
Yes.
Like, done. Pancakes, chicken, and waffles, done.
Yeah.
Like, where do you find your power? And like, who modeled, you know, like when you were like, you know, were there times where you're like, that's power. I feel that in my heart. You know, like just talk to me about how you find it and how you first saw it.
I think for myself, with in talking in within side, right? Like Thurland and I are very similar. We're yin and yang, right? It's like we're cohesive, but we're different. So when you say power, I have a lot of people who come to mind with side. I think of Thurland, right? She's so powerful in her divine purpose that encourages me with my quiet power, like my quiet roar. It's like, "Rah, I can do it too." Like it sounds silly.
Totally. Not at
um
all. As someone who's an extrovert, you know, like who has
yeah,
more of that like flame energy. My
yeah,
flame energy is nothing without my girls who have like that blue part of the flame,
yeah,
and they
yes,
have
yes.
saved me off of many a cliff.
And then like to your point, like the dreamer and the doer, right? Like that, like that's what pumps us, right? But so for me, my mom is a hairdresser by trade. So, and she owned a salon all my life. And that's where I really grew up. And it's really like shaped who I am as a person. Just in my morning walk with my dog, I'm like, Huh, I went into psychology because hairdressers are like therapists in a way, right? Like for the
They're even
community.
better because you walk out like looking gorgeous.
Yes,
Versus
yes,
sometimes in therapy, you walk out puffy eyes, mid cry.
yes, yes. So, with the women in that salon, my mom included, that's power to me because well, that's where like I guess my source come, all like the people
Yes.
encouraging me or giving me wisdom throughout the years. I feel like people are your best teachers in life, and to hear people's stories is like the best like workshop in life. Um, Within
It
myself,
also makes me think, I just want to
yeah,
jump in for a
yeah,
second to say, like, you talk about your mom and the salon, and like, so here's a woman who's an entrepreneur,
yes, yes,
right? Who has power within herself, who immigrates here and is like, my daughter's going to go to college, right? Like, we're going to have choices. Like, that's what's about
yeah,
to happen. Then she opens up a salon. So you are surrounded by women who care about themselves enough to go to a salon. Like, I always say, like, if ever you see me and like things are looking janky, like I'm probably like either way busier than I should be or I'm depressed,
yes,
right? Like
yes,
to
yes,
take time to go to a salon. And then what is a salon? If, like you said, it's therapy, but it's like a quilting circle, right? Like women are talking about their business, they're supporting each other. You're probably going at the same time. So you're seeing the same women, you're
yep,
getting into it. Your hairdressers are the facilitators. Like,
yep,
so you're sort of in this you're growing up in a healing circle where you're everyone's business because you're the kid of the right? Like it's like,
yes.
so,
Oh my God,
how's Marlene doing? What's Marlene doing? I'll buy Marlene's like,
yes,
candy bars,
yes,
right? So
yes.
it's like you have all these like aunties just
Oh yeah,
and so to grow up
lifting
in
me up.
that, right? Like
Yeah.
what power? I mean,
Yeah.
what a cauldron of power.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So it's like a wave of people's power that again ignites my quiet roar to be able to show up, to be able to be like, I know who I am because of my life experiences and my moral compass and my macro, and so I think and they ground me, right? So I think that's power. Another one was my grandmother. We were talking about it earlier. She was my anchor. She was the one that like really shaped me, and she was so powerful. She was 4'11", all spice.
Oh yeah, no, when powerful things come in small packages,
Yes, yes,
like
yes,
I'm sure.
yes. So yeah, yeah. And my dad's a
And so
Leo.
tell me more about your grandma. Like how did her power show up? Like you say she was 4'11 of full spice. Like give
Mhm.
us a couple of anecdotes about like
Yeah.
her feist.
Her feist. Um, my mom and my grandmother, I think they should be in a biography, and maybe I'm planting my own seed in
We are
my
about
life.
to manifest this because I haven't even heard about it and I'm watching. I think I want it to be a series so I
Yes,
could like, do it over a few
digest it.
days.
Yes.
Exactly.
But my grandmother, let's see. There's so many stories that I have of her. Um, she was just fearless. I think it takes courage to get up and leave your life to a life unknown. Um, so I think I don't know, it's like an aura. It was an aura about her. Like she didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
She'd be like, she would fight with anybody who challenged her, right? She would
Yes.
love you down, but it's like you challenge her, like she's gonna bite you. So it's like that
Right. She
authority.
wasn't raising no fools. She wasn't raising
No.
no one who was going to get talked about in the street. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Like, just you, like, you keep your composure type thing. Like, you're always kind, you're always generous. Like, that's what she really instilled in me. She was very selfless. So it's like your family is your everything. So it's like you did it, like, she was our lifeline in the household. So she cooked for us, cleaned for us, took care of us, rubbed our belly, like, that type of helicopter grandma.
yes. And also the protective, one of the things that I, it sort of like dawned on me as like I was like reading and just trying to figure out like, how do we hold this place for women, right? And how do we really help them find their power? And I was reading something about the Hindu goddesses, and every goddess has a fierce side that can fuck you up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and we talk about Durga and Kali because she's the most, right? Like, I mean, Durga has Shiva, like, Shiva thinks he's the man. He's at the bar, like, yo, I'm the
Yeah,
ultimate god. And Durga's like, until you get home, right? Like,
exactly.
but
Exactly.
Durga has destroyed worlds,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, Pele, the goddess of the volcano, like, fierce, kills people, right? Like, and Catholicism, I'll talk about Christianity because that's where I was raised, but I don't know necessarily, but I'm assuming because it's kind of like the monotheistic, right? We sort of, Christianity has the Old Testament, which is right.
Right,
Like
right.
this idea of this like virgin, like I don't think, like, I think Mary was probably fighting for her son to live, right? Like when you talk
Mhm.
about this protective side of your grandma, right? And how your grandma would like, don't let the claws come out because it's done, it's over, right? Like, and that's a very goddess energy that she was living out that like we take away from our mythology here in the US, right? Like, and yet most matriarchal driven families will tell you about a grandma or a great grandma
Or
or
an
a
auntie or a
mother.
mom, yeah, or a
Right. And
sister.
then and it's a line, right? Like for my family, it's Susie. Susie was the great grandmother. But everyone in that line, like my grandmother, and now it's my mother, has this edge that like, but it keeps the family together. But it's also like if someone's in trouble, my mother's the first one to call to be okay, what do we need to do?
Yeah.
Ba 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 ba. Da 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 da. But
Mhm.
also like she will fight
Mhm.
ferociously. And sometimes it's you, and that also sucks like when you get in that line of sight. But
Yeah.
like, I want to like pull that out in like honoring your grandmother is like, this is a part of that goddess. Like, and you talking about like, she'll feed you, she'll love you,
Mhm.
but that edge is there and it's there because she loves you so fiercely and because
Yep.
she loves her family and her world and making, like you said, what it takes to start new. She
Yeah.
wasn't going to lose that for nobody. And I
No.
think we as women, we forget that anger is like righteous protection
Mhm.
that might show up as anger or sarcasm in some cases or whatever it
It's
might be like
determination. Yeah.
right like it's taken away from us and I'm so glad that like we can call your grandma into the room and just like pull that out of like yes like love food hugs and
I'll cut you.
and
Right.
like then serve dinner right like that's
Exactly,
the thing I mean
exactly.
they're cold-blooded killer.
My mom isn't to bring my mom back in. She's an only child, so my grandma was very overprotective, obviously, of her child. So when my mom was young, and she came to this country. My mom came when she was 16, um, from DR. So my mom 5'7", tall brown sugar goddess. Let me tell you, she was a hottie. But she would be followed by this gentleman on her way home from wherever she was coming from. And my grandmother
It
peeped
was
game.
being preyed upon.
Exactly, exactly. She would tell me it was a Cadillac, and he would always be like, she would be like, I didn't understand English, so I didn't know what he was saying, but I knew it was just not
No, she got
it.
the vibe.
Yeah. But every day he would follow her, he would follow her, he would follow her. And I think one night my grandmother saw it, and she waited outside with a knife on her porch, waiting for my mom. Or no, somebody was like lurking and going to attack my mom actually. But they didn't know that my grandma was looking at them. So she got a knife and she was like, bet. And she waited there. And she saw my mom walking. And then when she approached and she saw, she came out with the knife, and so that's my grandma. And then she served my mom dinner probably.
She absolutely. She told her, get in, wash up,
Yeah.
take off your outside clothes.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't make a big deal of it, right? Like,
No.
was like,
You're
nope.
safe.
Like,
You're
but I
safe,
tell
little
you
one.
what, they learned today.
Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah.
right.
That's
Sometimes you got to pull the knives out, and it might be for your rights, for someone else's, for your family. Because I also get the vibe that if your grandmother saw that happening in the street to anyone, she would have been like,
like, nope, nope.
no, nope,
We
this
don't we
ain't
don't do
happening
this.
today. Oh,
Yes.
I love that. I love that. So we started this show talking about Side Presents.
Yes. I know. Oh my
And
God.
it makes so much sense now hearing about, your mom and your grandmother that like gave you this power
Hmm.
that once you found this purpose,
The
right,
beat.
that you would just live it. I want to though honor that because just like you were talking about, it's scary to pick up and move. Like it's scary to not go the traditional route, right?
Yes.
It's scary to
Yes.
not be like, I have a degree, so I love children. Let me help them, right? To pick something safe that comes with benefits. And as someone who also comes from immigrant lineage, like benefits and pension were like that
It,
was being rich in my family.
it was
Like,
it was security after the unknown, right? It's like you put
that's
in your
it.
time, and retirement is the unknown that I don't know, but I'm secured.
But I'm secure. I'm going to have health care. I'm going to have a payment coming in, right? And so don't take risks. Like I remember my family being like, why can't you just get a job? Like, just get a job. Like, you're smart, and they would mean it as a positive,
Yes.
right? Like,
I get it all the time. I get it like
right, you
last
get it
week.
all the time. I mean, to this day, I think if you were to ask certain members of my family what I did, they'd be like, I don't know.
Um,
Like the one thing they understood was when I was a banker, because that was a job, right? They were like,
yes,
oh,
yes.
she finally got a job. She finally has benefits. Like, I'm sure my family has no idea how I have benefits. How, like, they think I'm gonna, have no retirement, right? Like, just that's their so, and that's a lot of us. Most of us are
Right.
working class people who come from families that are like HVAC, right? Like, get you a
Yeah,
trade, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and so to say, and for some people, that's a wonderful way to live their purpose, right? Because they might want to
Yes.
spend more time to, but to actually do something and to take that risk to say, I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to invite people to a brunch. People might not come, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then they did, right? Like these risks of living your purpose, of bringing women together, of celebrating women, of being unapologetic about the things that um we're taught to be ashamed of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That takes bravery. Like, how do you, Marlene, really live your purpose? Like, how do you, I'm sure you feel scared sometimes, like, how do you live your purpose?
Um,
You're
let's
like, I
see.
just do, sis.
Nah, I think like I ask myself that like every day. I think like we all like as creatives, like the Achilles heel can be imposter syndrome, but that's just inner self-doubt, right? Like that we fester up. But which, which clouds your purpose, right? Like it's all like
Listen, bring out that
fuzzy in the air.
psychology degree, sis. Like,
Yeah.
remind us,
Yes,
right?
it
Because
gets
we think
hard
it's
in the
what is, we think
trenches.
it's reality. We're like, this is the
Yeah.
reality.
It is. It is. And life, I mean, the cliches are right? Like life ebbs and flows. Um, my purpose, I think my curiosity fuels my purpose.
Yes.
Curiosity within myself to know more about myself, to know about my blind spots, curiosity about human connections, um, about human, just everything. I think that's what like drew me into my academic background. But the why was because I love to connect with people. Like even if it's me just listening, it's I think again going back to the salon, everybody has a story, and I listen to so many stories in my life, and I think storytelling also is my purpose. Because again, it's like
Yes.
when you see me, you see all those women that were behind me pushing me, right? So it's like I'm storytelling them, right? Like keeping people alive, right? Like
Yes.
yeah, because again, that's all it all fuels into connection, and I think that's what feeds self is human connection and
And
curiosity.
curiosity. Say
Curiosity.
what you were gonna say. Go ahead.
Yeah. And yeah, I was just gonna say and curiosity to explore, right? Like because so many people sometimes get um held back because it's like I want to do something, but who am I going to connect with? I don't know anybody.
And right now, 59% of Americans feel lonely, right? Like,
Oh
and like, girl, I
yes.
just did this whole last night. I don't know what it was, but I did 2 hours on freaking Instagram Reels. I went to bed. I felt like I literally had to apologize to my brain and do meditation work because I felt like I was ODing. And I
Yep.
was like, this is supposed to be, and it was hilarious. Like, I got in funny threads. So, like,
Yes,
things were
yes.
just funny. I
Funny.
just
Yeah.
kept going up, like, people were falling, people were, grandmas were talking shit. Like, it was a funny 2 hours. But when I ended, I felt like I was like, oh, this isn't good for my body, for me. And it doesn't promote the connectivity that it's said, right? Social media, like
Right.
in a certain way, like I kind of just got myopic, right? For 2 hours and like didn't. So anyway, I say all that to say that like connectivity is something that we need, that we're thriving in. The fact that part of your purpose is in person, right? Bringing people together. I mean, that's what the two of you were doing, right? Together first, right? That the two of you were the first seed, right? And then you got
Mm-hmm.
planted in this bigger community and Side Presents gets created. I also want to pull out for listeners that if you want to stay young forever,
Yeah.
learn how to be curious. Like
Yeah.
curiosity, and
Mhm.
that's not being nosy. And like, if you want to know the difference, come to a family gathering of mine. I can sit you next to an auntie and you will
Mhm.
feel the nosiness, right? But the difference between curiosity and nosy, and this is part of like what I pick up on your vibe too, like,
Mhm.
is curiosity is about, like, the Cherokee have a great definition for curiosity. And curiosity, their definition is, and I'm paraphrasing, they word it much more beautifully than I do, but they say, my life will be better by
Mhm.
getting to know you or this, right? Like, so it's
Mhm.
not about how do I know you to put you in a box? Does she have a degree? Is she an, and all these things will help me know you. But that's not actually it, right? Like us having this conversation
Mhm.
and me being like, right, she vibes on curiosity. Like,
Mhm.
that that's how you actually, that reinforces then for me, right? Curiosity is how you do amazing things, right? Marlene
Yeah.
does amazing
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Curiosity drives her purpose. Like, let me remind myself, let me lean into curiosity more rather than just like, because I will fall on, oh, I know, you know what I mean? Like, this is both like, I have to check myself because I'm like, you are so quick to like, like, you know, and I come from a judgy McJudge face family, right? Like,
Mhm, mhm.
so like I'm better now by being curious about you, reminding me about curiosity, right? Like,
Yes, yes, yes.
so I love that you're giving us this gift of curiosity and that because it is also something that doesn't have to run out, right? So like you
No, it shouldn't.
saying that that drives your purpose, like ladies, I'm just saying, or whoever's listening, men, women, children, like children. I don't know if children should listen to all of our stuff, but like stay curious about
Yeah.
yourself. Like you were saying, you know, I'm curious about me. I want to see what I can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like, and that's just such a beautiful reminder for all of us. Be
Yeah.
curious about yourself. This is also, I think, a beautiful segue, curiosity,
Into
into
play.
this idea of pleasure.
Hmm.
Because if there's one thing that I think we're all recognizing that our four, you know, parents and ancestors did not take into account
It's
was
pleasure.
the importance of it. You know, like, I mean, I'm sure, you know, you saw with your mom in the salon, she worked herself to the bone, right? Like,
Still is.
still is, right? Still is. And if she was sitting here, she'd probably be like, but that's my purpose. And of course it is, right? We're
Yeah.
not trying to take away the hard workedness, but how do you get curious about your own pleasure, right? Like,
Right, 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 right,
what
right, right.
about you? You know, so can you just give us a little insight into the things that, you know, the self-care, you know, whatever they are? I don't want to, you know, give you subjects. I'm just thinking about my own, you know, pleasure
Yeah.
seeking, but like, what does your pleasure seeking look like and what do you find?
I think to my earlier point, my curiosity fuels my purpose. My inner child fuels my curiosity. So my inner child pushes my pleasure, right? That's the ego. That's the, it's just pleasure, baby. Like that's what I want, just that dopamine. Um, but still like I get a lot that I'm very youthful, right? But I on purpose. I have
Yes.
things that bring me joy, sunsets, sunrises, walks, fresh air, listening, like going outside and just listening to life pass by. I love that. I love people watching. Like I think I find small pockets of peace anywhere that I can find, even something so small. I think I stopped to like look at three trees just because the petals looked pretty, and just taking a moment to acknowledge it and be present in it. I think that's a big pleasure, right? Um,
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
The little things, this idea of what I'm picking up on what you're saying is like you you like to be awed. You're
hmm
open to be awed, and that's part of your pleasure is that, you know, whether it's like walking and like listening to the streets pass by and finding, you know, pleasure in people living their lives and you getting to take a moment, like the sun on your face, like the sounds of birds, like those small pleasures of freedom
Yep, yep.
that you give yourself. And because I know, you know, like you're also a real person, like do you schedule or do you just try to catch it when you can? You know, how do you make
Listen.
sure?
Mm-hmm. Well, I will say I struggle with putting my self-care first as I should. So it's something that I'm working on myself. But I think I find, again, that childlike energy, like a kid will be fascinated by slime and then go climb a tree. and then go ride a bike. You know what I mean? So it's like, I guess that ADD side of me, where it's like, oh, hey, oh, like, so it's like I could be walking to work and it's like, oh, that's a nice tree. Like, I don't know. I think like
Yes.
just that muscle of not being afraid to stop. Cause I feel like um, to your point of like our ancestors, it's the constant hamster wheel because that's survival, right? But then you don't get a chance to just live and observe and let life, just you and life be like one together, right? Where this is like no distraction, like everything like sometimes just turns quiet. Like we don't give ourselves that. Um, but I
Yes.
think well, I listened to a podcast about happiness and how the psychology of happiness, the driving factor of its research is because of the cynical viewpoint that we all carry now, right? Like everything's on our phones. We can have opinion about anything and everything that's happening in front of us. That feeds our ego, right? And it's just like, well, why am I gonna trust you? Why am I gonna, put into that? Because we think we think of the 5, 10 steps before instead of just living in the one to see where it plays out.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so I think removing like being cynical,
Yes. Remind us, sis.
that allows that
Remove
child like to
cynicism.
come in and be like, like who cares? Like, you can just find a friend in anybody. Who cares? You like slime? I like slime. Let's play with slime. Who cares about anything else?
Yes. You are, oh, I'm so glad we're having this conversation because you're reminding me, and I feel like there's certain places where I can do it easier, right?
Mhm.
Like where it's like, when I'm in Hawaii for the winter, like there's this tree that I'm in love with. And the first time I fell in love with it, like it felt weird, but it's huge. It's
Yeah,
huge.
yeah.
And my mom and I were doing this walk, and I was like, I feel the need to hug this tree.
I
And
love
like
that.
my mom was like, hug the
You're gonna hug
tree,
a tree?
Exactly. Like go hug a tree.
Yeah.
And now whenever we do the walk, or like my mom will be like, I walked past your tree today, and at
Connection.
first, exactly, right? And it's like at first, like I was worried, is someone going to see me? Because we are told to care, right? We are told, and I just want to pull out.
I lost you. I lost you audio.
Oh no. Can you hear me now? I seem to have audio.
No, I lost. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, now I can hear you. Yes,
Okay,
now.
we're back. Okay, great. Okay, great. So we'll
So you were
be
scared.
you'll cut this out. I was so scared to hug the tree because I
Mhm.
thought someone would see
Right.
and be like, why is she hugging a tree? And yet, me doing that gave me something that I still lean on now, right? Like, this is a
Right.
tree that I now have a relationship with. And, I just want to pull out like, the thing about pleasure is you need to give yourself permission.
Yeah.
And especially in the US, in a capitalist, materialist society where the most expensive thing, although now we're learning that's built in China right next to the cheapest thing, and you might as well go to Canal Street and get you your purses.
Mhm.
Um, we're taught that that's pleasure.
Mhm.
And so to give yourself permission to hug a tree or to notice the birds or to just stand around, that doesn't make money. That's not effective. So you're not you're judged when you're doing
Yeah.
it, right? And like so much about like I feel like pleasure is like the opposite of shame. Like I mean,
Mhm.
you're the psychology major, you could tell me like what the actual opposite of it is, but like like when you hear these stats, 69% of women, you know, aren't satisfied sexually, or like, and you're just like, right, because we don't give ourselves permission to ask. And if it starts with it starts with giving yourself pleasure every day. Like, it's not always needs to be sexual, like, but get into the practice of saying, I like listening to birds. I'm gonna listen to birds, you know, like I love that. I love that. That's what we should do. One of our maybe Sunflower and Side presents. We can do something outside this summer
Love that. I love
where
this.
like we can just, you know, like and maybe it's Franklin Park, so we can also like watch people go by
Yes.
and have
Yes.
a little like chisme, like judgy
Yeah.
McJudge, you know, like get that part of the salon into because that's also important.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
but you know, just to be free to like, yeah, like we can do like bring a friend and have a play date. And we
Hmm.
can like have ways of just playing together, you know, like
Hmm.
that's what I'm so thankful because like your energy is giving me right now is like, right, play.
Play. Yeah. So like, not to bring it
Slime,
back
like
to.
I like slime.
I like slime too. I literally climb trees all the time. If it sparks inside me, I'll be like, yo, I'm about to climb this tree. Really, Mar? And I'm already up in the tree. Yeah, you wanna come and join me? Come on.
I do. I
Yeah, like
do.
I
And like
think
you'll show
also
me because I'm already like, oh my God, I'm scared if I gonna fall. Right?
no.
Like that's where your mind goes.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think like for me, like I'm a tomboy. Like by just again I just since I was born like I love to run, be in the sun, look at the clouds, like just
Yes.
if you see me like the way I dress, and I always tell people I'm like I dress if I pick up my skateboard, I'm comfortable. If I want to climb a tree, I'm not constrained. If I'm going on the walk on the beach, I'm like it because I think nature is what um is my like
That's your
is
plug.
yeah,
That's your
that's
source.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And you're always ready for it, right? That's what I'm hearing you say. Like you're like, I'm not someone who needs to get sneakers to climb a tree. I have them on. I can climb a tree. And I think that's also so important as we're thinking about pleasure. Like if there are things you like to do, be ready to do them. Like in the summer, my trunk well, actually in the winter too, but I just use
Yeah.
it in the summer. My trunk has a chair
Me too.
and a bathing suit because I'm like, you never know when you're just going to be able to just run real quick,
Yes.
you know, because
Yeah,
I
you
don't need
don't
to get all the
know.
way to the Cape. You know,
No.
I can get to, I mean, on some days I'll go to Carson and just be like, it's water and it's beautiful and I'm going to
Exactly.
sit. I might not go in, but I'll
No.
sit. You know,
Yeah.
being prepared for pleasure.
Exactly. Again, being open to it, right? And I think you talk a little bit like sexually, right? As women, that shame, that guilt, that to-do list. I think that's one thing like Cosmopolitan like wrote something like throw the to-do list, right? Like what makes you feel good, sis? Like you take a nice shower, you exfoliate, like you feel good, you exude good. And then that sense of like shame or pressure or guilt goes out the window, and then you're more in the again more in the moment, more curious, say yes, right? Like see what feels right. I guess it's just that connection to self. It always will come back to self, right? Like in like
Yeah.
the alchemist, you're searching for something that you already have inside of you and that it's right in front of you. So it's like you don't have to search too far or wide. You have to just get curious about yourself. So I
Woo. I mean, if that is not a word to end on, if that is not a word to end on, get curious about yourself. Power, purpose, and pleasure. That's how it's done. Curiosity is a wonderful, wonderful way to do it. Also, sitting with amazing women like you. So, thank you so much, Marlene, for
Thank
taking the
you.
time and coming to talk as we're starting this little thing called Sunflower Spa because it's places like Side Presents that we will grow because of, right? Like we're like in community with you all and with all the other women. Like, you know, you'll see, you know, and you can check out and other people check out the other videos, just amazing women holding space to love one another
Mhm.
And that's what we want to be a part of. And thank you so much for building that,
Thank
and shout out to Therlande
you.
too,
Yes, yes,
because
yes.
we love her and we're going to be talking with her soon. But thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.